by. Blessed by all those who tread in this holy light. Spoke with him again. He said, he pined, and I feel torn in two. My loyalty to him tears me one direction, and the Nephilim point elsewhere. Without his voice spoken to me, the gospel sing to me, and yet I sense conflict. I sense disagreement among the angels. It sends me greatly. I will one day weigh my soul, attempt penance, attempt to repent for missteps in my life. Yet here is shine brightest of all. He let me see. Preservation to mark my sacred symbol. Pinpoints to the source of their power as I pray. The Lord sends me the voice of the Holy Spirit. Reverberates with the finery of ancient language. Made new. Where these timbers carried by the Nephilim. Barriers against invasions from afar. Barriers against invasions from afar. Yes. Barriers around the earth against, like, the sun, maybe? In the ancient kingdom of Kent, Jupiter brought me here as fire burns. Lord speaks to me again. He warns of betrayals of strugglers and trials of the first ones. I do not always understand his message, for he is warning me. It is because he believes I am worthy. He says, there's one angel still trapped. She must be released or joined. Must I find her? Told them the palace sings here. I dare temper with these sacred threads. A voice scolded me. You must leave. Divorce from the Illuminati. Divorced from the Illuminati. The Illuminati was a cast of Isu, which I'm pretty sure was Juno, Minerva, and that, if I remember correctly. No, sorry, it was Juno was part of it, but not Minerva and Jupiter. It was Juno only. Bend a knee, good to ground center my words. Like greatest today, I when harrying depths after the Isu, great battles were fought in the resurrection kingdom's Christ. Today, Lord instructed me in a plan to travel the ocean, seek the door behind which hides his fallen angels. I should try his name, amen. Here I blend in of Clonfirst, servant of our Lord, to make my final description for his holy font of light. Journey is at an end. For some years I've heard the inner voice of my Lord and followed him to this place to receive his word. I've seen the gate with its ancient markings. I've heard the voice of the angel calling me beloved, yet the way did not open. His voice yet calls me still in blissful forms, tortures to me, yet the way remains closed. My forward is uncertain. Alright, secure share. What is this? Stonehenge. Here are translations. The two inscriptions found in the vault beneath Stonehenge. Aha. In a war with love, there is only one goal: to search for a better future. Like the polymath. Fate is what the weak name their cowardice. The strong craft their own future. Morrigan. Not sure what to make of these. Do they relate to things you've seen on site? Lug the polymath. And Morrigan. Okay. So that's basically it. So I'm gonna save it one more time. I'm gonna save it here. And we are going to quit the game. And what we're going to do, wait, we can close from here, right? Oops. Sorry, Steam opened up. God damn it, I hate this. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to read some stuff. In case any of you guys are interested in any information, I'm going to turn off PS5. What we'll do is we'll have this, and we'll read some stuff, because there's some stuff I want to read. But yeah, my final thoughts on the game, I don't really have much else. I kind of don't like how all the stories segregated. The start and end of the game were great. I liked more the Assassin's Creed stuff than the Viking stuff. I wish that the main character was an assassin more so, or you know, integrated a little bit more than especially since I just in terms of chronology, in time periods, it was Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla, AC1. So Odyssey is the earliest, which makes sense that she's not really a fully assassin, but she kind of like discovers the Order, and it's the origins of the Order of the Ancients, and she also is the first one to fight back, and her fighting skills, skills are transferred to her son, along with the father of the son, who is Natakis, who's learned his abilities from Darius. So Darius is the original like assassin with all the skill set. So and that went down to Aya from Origins, and then Bayek, and then that's how their assassins kind of skills and their kind of ideals on their like fighting come to place. So considering that Cassandra is not really an assassin, or you know, is follows the ideals and philosophy of an assassin, but not really. And then you got Bayek, who started the Order, and then between Bayek and Altair, Altair's like the assassin, you know, like one of the greatest assassins of all time. In between that, you've got like Eivor, who's literally just a Viking and nothing else, and he's just not involved in any assassin. Like she's not even close to an assassin. Just her actions kill people of the Order because they corrupt England, but she's not like an assassin, you know, in full faith. So it just so happens that she's the person who kills the Order, but you know, she doesn't really, especially when Basim teaches her like assassin kind of moves. You use a hood, you know, hide here, hide there, and she doesn't really fully use that because, you know, like it's shown once, but it's not really dived too deep into. So it's kind of disappointing that in between Bayek and Altair, two like really good characters, we've got Eivor, who's a good character and learns a lot, but he's not an assassin really. So let's just go through. So these two were the people who wrote the text that we just read. So Morrigan was a ship, captained by the Assassin Templar Shay Cormac. Okay. Is there anything? Morgan's armaments. That's kind of a cool shot. The ship was named after Irish goddess Morrigan. So this is the Isu. So face for the weak, naming cowards, strong craft their own future. That's one of the texts in the place where we got the Excalibur, I think, Stonehenge. Okay, so this is basically introducing the Irish pantheon now. As the Isu later became known as the goddess of the Irish pantheon, which we'll get into a bit later. Shapeshifting goddess Morrigan was known to take form of a wolf, among others. In Arthurian legend, which is Arthur Pendragon, instead she was the cause of Merlin's reunation. So maybe the next one is going to be, well, the DLC is the Druids, right? But maybe the next like big AC game is going to be about like Ireland, Irish like influence, time period. So in the structure beneath Stonehenge, several state engraved mysterious quotes were discovered by Eivor as she recovered the sword Excalibur. Also in this time, Eivor obtained an Isu shield named after her, the Morrigan's Guard. Okay, so it is an Isu shield. You can possess the British supervore, named it the goddess. Okay. Through the efforts of the linguist Anthony Henry, who discovered a way to translate one of their Isu dialects. Remember the one-day assassins and a linguist. Anthony's name is a reference to Antoine Henry, a designer at Ubisoft Singapore. It's confirmed on January 13, 2021 by the fan site Access the Animus in a video detailing the process behind deciphering the Isu language. Sent out to Anthony made a breakthrough and discovered a way to translate one of the Eastern language dialects into English. She consequently shared his translations of fragments of Eastern text found around the world. Layla and her team. Okay, so Morrigan is an issue of the Irish pantheon, and Lug, in a world of love, is only one goal: the search for a better future. Has easily become known as the god of the Irish and Celtic pantheon as Lug or Lugus. Alright, so let's read through the Irish ethnic groups. Irish. Where's this? Okay, that just sends me to Wiki. Okay. It basically locates where the island is. Many conflicts. Irish Roman Catholics, Republicans, William Johnson, Anne Bonny. Pursued violence from the Irish people such as Anne Bonny, Duncan Little, John O'Brien, migrated to 13 colonies or fight British uprisings that were usually crushed until 1921 following the Anglo-Irish Treaty. During the War of Independence, these people brought a majority of the island independence from the United Kingdom. At least one assassin was active in the conflict. Irish assassin operated in Ireland. Genetic memories of this assassin were used by Obscure Industries for a video called Hell in Hibernia. It's the Irish War of Independence. Okay, so AC Unity, huh? So getting tame employee handbook. Okay. So past dates. So we got Kingdom of Ireland. 1542, 1800, 1927, 1937. So I want to see. What I actually want to see is AC3, the time period. Saying Reynolds is from 1754 to 1783. So that would overlap here. Kingdom Great Britain of Ireland, 18 to 20. So after AC3, depending on where the time period is, Ireland if there's an AC Ireland Irish kind of game based on Ireland history, it could either be before AC3 by 200 years, or it could be like right after AC3 too, for all we know. But anyway, so Brendan Clonfert, this is the guy who was speaking with all the Stonehenge and stuff, those things that we the thing that we just read earlier. It was a Celtic monk from Ireland and a sage. Oh, how did you get this information? From 530 to 537, Brendan embarked on a pilgrimage, visiting many standing stones across Ireland, documenting his unknowing interactions with Isu and messages he marked on rocks near places like Seahenge and Stonehenge. His 200-some-year journey ended in Vinland at the Tanhanakea Standing Stone. In his writing, Brendan made reference to God's angel denying him access. Wait. Okay, so if I copy this, what's going to happen? In Finland. Origins is his first appearance. That's interesting. First BCE, Baker Seawell would often visit new stone circles throughout Egypt with his son, Kemu. Ah, yes, the stone circles, that's right. That's right. There were some of these. Okay. So, he got to the final one and God's angel denying him access. So maybe could that be like a voice or something like because the door doesn't open, but he is a sage, so he's got EC blood, so he should be able to open doors, EC doors. Nearly 2 centuries later, Ava found and completed his puzzle all over the course of her own travel. Brandon was a historical figure and character appearing in Valhalla. His journal entries provided by blah blah. Also, voice activity in the same game. Oh, this guy. Okay. Right. So no real much like information he has is a Celtic monk, and he was documenting his messages from the Isu. And then at his final one, he was blocked. He was denied access. So that's all we really know. Now these are all the weapons. Known in Welsh. Now in Great Britain, birthplace, number of notable figures, including a pirate, assassin Edwin Kenway. Ah, okay. And Bethlehem. Maternal grandmother of British assassin Jacob E.B. Fry was Welsh. It's one of the swords of Eden. Now, there are multiple swords of Eden. Genghis Khan was a sword of Eden. I really want the samurai sword. That'd be sick. I'm not sure if there's like a list. So, current location number 1 is Abstergo, India. Sword of Eden 1. Grande Beres, power leadership, later used by infantry humans in battle. Particular sword was long thought to have been damaged by the French Revolution, but Professor Simon Hathaway, a temple historian in Press Explore Memories, was okay. Chacus del Mole. Alright, this is from AC. This is from Unity, if I remember correctly. Yes. Which is in number 2 is unknown. Genghis Khan sword. During the East era, bring about the world unification. And the War of Unification is military conflict between members of ECS started at some point. Conflict saw creation of numerous pieces of Eden, such as the swords, and with the purpose of ending the war through these resulting in the death toll rising significantly. In response to the rising mortality rate, Hephaestus and his apprentice Constance created the Shrouds of Eden, nanotech matter generators, which were designed next. Oh yeah, medical things. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but a Mongol warlord, mentor Levantine assassin. The mentor and Levantine assassin Altair ibn Lahar critically suspected Genghis Khan wielding the sword. Altair's wife Maria and their son Darim traveled to Mongolia intending to assassinate Khan to retrieve the piece of Eden. Darim and Mongolian assassin Khalid Khan killed Genghis Khan. He's a member of the Mongolian Brotherhood. One of the oldest, most renowned members, Yudi's vital role in the assassination of Genghis Khan alongside Darim, Altair's son. Which we've got a bunch of comics, and this is, oh yes, he has a statue in Monterey. Ah yes. There we go. That'll be cool to get a game about him at some point. For sure. And then we got Perseus' Sword of Eden is unknown. Perseus, Temple of Dionysus, Sparta. Looks like the relics alleged to have been part of history. Other examples include one rolling down and one. Okay, so it's only in glyphs. So AC2 is glyphs, which makes sense. This sword here. Okay, so we don't know where that one is. Sword of Damocles, Excalibur. One of the Swords of Eden. Yes, this is from AC Odyssey. Which is unknown right now in Excalibur. Okay. Isu, Arthur Pendragon. It's actually really cool. I want to read about him. So, we come with England. Sword has been lodged in a stone, put out by a young Britain leader named Arthur, who is backing the local chapter, British Royal Temple Order of the Order of the Ancients. His blade rallies people newly crowned High King Britain to fight defenseless against the lands against invading Anglo-Saxons. However, he was later betrayed years after, ultimately leading to his death. The sword, which was then considered one of the 13 treasures of Britain, was then hidden in issue vault beneath Meridian's cave in Hamptonshire, locked into place and released with 12 tablets. Yes, we know this. 300 years later, claimed by Eivor. And its king. Okay. Britain leader, and let's say he was also a leader of the Order of the Ancients. That's what's in possession of a mantle that made him invisible. So he defended his lands from Anglo-Saxons. He has his place in the structure of no Stonehenge. Okay. After out sorting stone instead of puzzles, he had hidden in the Animus for his successor. Definitely did so in September that he uncovering Clay's message suggesting the Sword of Arthur was in fact the Sword of Eden. Alan Rickon was of the opinion that Arthur's view of the Templars role are just misguided, seeing his fellows proof that the Order was meant to follow a different path in the 21st century. Okay. We have Gungnir. Spear of Eden created by the Norse Isu blacksmith Ivaldi with the aid of his sons. Dwarf Isu and blacksmith living in Asgard. From his creation to Ragnarok, Prince Ian was wielded by Odin himself before it was lost with Goinhella. Cave deep within the valley, situated atop his father's house. Yeah. Mountaineer, you can still many layers achieved by Eivor. He carried it out with him to meet his end during the Great Catastrophe. Gungnir was trapped between Goinhella, lay down until 877. Odin's reincarnation retrieved it while detouring away from a ballad on their way to the supercomputer. Okay, so the official canon is that we went left when we went there with Sigurd. Okay, that makes sense. All right, nothing else really. Marion's Arc is a hunter bow. Wow, okay, holy crap. Behind the scenes. There's a bunch of stuff here. This is about how it was discovered, I think. Soundtrack. The sword is a tool to unlock it. I think this is the collector's edition box or something. Excalibur with raven feathers. Single feather magnetite. Yeah, okay. Nothing really that great. Mjolnir. Personal weapon of Thor. Another son of Loki. The middle brother of both Fenrir, legendary wolf. Sigil and the final battle of Ragnarok and the goddess Hel who rules over Helheim. We don't have any like any indications of who Fenrir or Jormungandr or any of those people who Loki's sons are in like actual like in real life, like whether modern day or not. They don't have like a physical human identity at the moment. It's always successful incarnate as Halfdan Ragnarsson. That's cool. So while living in the train with Odin and Tyr to meet their fate. And Tyr's missing hand, which I didn't even notice, and they both has a sword, and the person beside him has a sword as well. Mjolnir's first wielder was Thor, easily belonging to a Northern European group called the Aesir. Group helped issue had dominion over the Scandinavian region. It's just that it was revered as the main pantheon gods in Norse religion. Odin, Freya, Tyr, Thor, Heimdall. This is the person that Loki killed. Vor. Fantom consists of many gods. They used to be the enemies of another pantheon in Norse religion, the Vanir. These two pantheons declared war on each other and battled, but following political marriage between Odin and Freya, the two groups settled into a peace of unification between two pantheons. No information with the Vanir. Anyway, let's not go too far. Continue to during a great catastrophe, which will later be known to humans as the mystical Ragnarok. After Thor's death, Mjolnir was lost to the world until its rediscovery millennia later, embedded in mountains in Hordafolka. Like in Hordafolka, the region of Hordafolka where King what's his name is King Harold. He has 2 pieces of Eden just sitting there and a whole chamber. Like he had the spear, which is in the chamber, and then the hammer. Like if he only explored his own region properly. Poor dude, missing out. Mjolnir's reclaimed by Eivor. Reclaimed blah blah. Under Harold, yeah. Reclaiming each piece of Thor's armor for various strong enemies. She returned Norway to claim Mjolnir as her own. Okay, and we've got the shield rediscovered in the shield used during a Tales for England. Okay. Nothing really there for the shield, and got Ravenstorp. This will be the first stop. Traveling across the North Sea from Norway, however, when they arrived, abandoned, occupied by Anglo-Saxons. They were intended to renovate the area. I was like, who were raiding? Okay. Basically, all the buildings and stuff. Concept art is like pretty cool. Ravenstorp first appeared in Valhalla when it served as main settlement which the players build up as they progress through the game. In a similar fashion to other settlement meta games in the series such as Monster Journey and Davenport Homestead and AC3. I'd say it's more closer to Davenport Homestead because Monster Journey was very like Assassin's Creed like one, it was more than a settlement, and I guess that's just because of the era, but there was actually like a hidden assassin like thing to it. So there's a real life village of Ravenstorp located roughly in the same area in the fictional one. In-game videos not intentionally made to be the same location. The development team only finding out about the real village near the end of the game's development. Well. Derived from the Middle English word Thorp, meaning hamlet or small village. So it started as. Man, it's really cool. These concept art, concept arts makes it look really sick. The shop, I don't know what that is, and then some screenshots. Concept art, the Humans Bureau interior. It does. I mean, it kind of looks like that, but tattoo parlor and some screenshots. All right, I don't think there's anything really more to. Here we go. So we got yes, Alcuin and Charlemagne. So remember, if you remember correctly, this was King Alfred's notes in his studies. So Charlemagne, King of the Franks in Italy, Carolingian Empire, to be succeeded by the Holy Roman Empire. He was also leader of the Order of the Ancients. And this is the guy who sent the letter to Charlemagne about the order, but Charlemagne himself was a leader of the order. Charlemagne's written in May 804. Charlemagne was written a letter by Alcuin regarding the existence of the Order of Ancients and how they were a parasitic group neglecting God's teaching. How they worshipped the precursor beings known as Isu, Archons, or Nephilim. Alcuin also informed Charlemagne about the Order's obsession with the sages. Yeah, Isu were born as humans, but in order to be blasphemers, Alcuin was unaware that Charlemagne himself was a member of the said order. Despite being a pious defender of God's will, Charlemagne hid his allegiance well. The order then had Alcuin killed a week later as he knew too much. His letter was never sent. In 2012, Charlemagne was one of the many historical people included in the glyph puzzles in the late clay cosmos left behind in the Animus. Yes, okay. Messages for Desmond Miles, which is in AC2. Desmond later in September that year, Desmond solved his puzzle titled Instruments of Power. Charlemagne was excluded from his historical individuals revealed by Clay to reveal the Sword of Eden. The same year he was included in Romantic Aesthetic in Stoker Energy's Project Legacy. Yes, the Facebook game. Alcuin was the sender, Anglo-Saxon scholar, clergyman, poet, teacher from York in the Kingdom of Northumbria. In the latest years, Alcuin accepted an invitation from King Charlemagne of the Franks to become scholar in the Carolingian court. Alcuin investigated the church monasteries, the empire discovering Order of the Ancients had infiltrated Christian order. To corrupt beliefs of their own. He wrote a letter to Charlemagne to his word to steer clear of the order, but he didn't know Charlemagne was actually the order. Charlemagne was similarly corrupted by the ideals and became leader of the order in his own right. A week later, he died. The letter would eventually end up in England, where it came to the position of King Aethelwulf of Wessex and eventually his son Alfred. or we can let out this study. Okay, that's all the information that I really wanted to say and read and talk about. Really, so that's it, guys. Thanks a lot. It was a hell of a run, man. It was a hell of a run. All this time. The complete playthrough will be uploaded on YouTube. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, come check me out on Twitch at Fantom1080 as well. And yeah, we'll be playing many more games, variety streamer, live gaming. I like reading manga, watching anime, bunch of other stuff I'm interested in. I like art and stuff. I like a few other things such as like I don't know. I kind of enjoy seeing space rockets fly these days with SpaceX and stuff. So yeah, God knows where we'll be in 5-10 years. But yeah, I'm pretty open to all topics. So feel free to come in and chat. Yeah, no spoilers, please though. And be kind and stuff like that. Other than that, I've pretty much said all I need to say. I think with Valhalla. In terms of like where I would place it in any rankings, like I don't really know. Like I would consider Origins like mid tier. Like just to give a couple of examples, I would put like AC2 Brotherhood Revelations as like top tier. Maybe even AC1 as top tier as well. I would put high mid tier. I would put like maybe I would put AC1 as high mid tier. Like Black Flag would be high mid tier as well. Like low tier would probably be like AC Rogue, Odyssey, I don't know, perhaps even Syndicate, maybe, or maybe Syndicate would be like low mid tier, stuff like that. I feel like Origins and Valhalla are kind of close for me. That would probably be mid tier. I'm not sure where they would be in the mid tier. Like I don't think they would be high mid tier. They're not quite AC4 or AC1 level. But I don't think that would be low mid level either. But I don't know. That would be like mid tier somewhere, mid or low mid tier. If I had to guess, although that's pretty like there's a bit too many tiers there. That's 9 tiers, but it'd be mid tier. Like I feel like Origins had a better story overall, better execution, better story, better pacing, better character in Bayek, and better support characters as in Aya, and also. Although the other characters were, not as significant, but they became part of the Order later, which was like very, very cool. Also, the Order members, although the villains weren't super memorable, there was a few, like Cleopatra and the Roman guy Caesar was also like obviously they were prominent figures, but they were like decent like characters as well, in the game. But I feel like. Yeah, I feel like Origins is pretty good in that aspect. In terms of Valhalla, I feel like Eivor is a decent character, not as good as Bayek though. The story is, I think the start and the end of the story of Valhalla stands out to me to a drastic amount. Even though like all the Ragnar Son stuff was like really cool because the show Vikings and stuff, but the storylines are pretty good, but the pacing is just off for Valhalla. Like. It started off really strong, Assassin's Creed type of stuff. We had assassins in there, we had the Order, we had like a coherent story, and then through the middle it was just like, going to each region, doing its own little story, and then like leaving it behind until the end where it had more assassin stuff with like coming back to the real world and Basim and Sigurd and all that stuff, and like Folke. I think Folke was a pretty good villain. I think Eivor was a pretty good character. Like I said, not as good as Bayek. I think Folke is a decent villain. I really like the twist of having King Alfred killing the Order from within. I think that's kind of interesting. Although it's a parallel to the woman who created the Order in Odyssey, who said that she wanted to create the Order to create like peace, but it kind of got out of hand. So it's kind of similar to that. But anyway, regardless, I feel like that's an interesting take. I'm not sure if you've got that before. Someone trying to destroy it from the inside, but it makes sense since Alfred inherited the position. It wasn't exactly didn't exactly like want it in the first place. He didn't get it there through his own ambitions. He kind of just inherited it, so it was a burden for him. I like that twist, which is also at the end of the game. So I think as a whole, the pacing for Valhalla was worse than Origins, but I feel like some of the story beats in AC Valhalla were better than Origins. Like, especially the ending with Basim coming back and like the Isu, like the Yggdrasil place, and like all the stuff that you could go to, like this, like especially with the Isu weapons, like the hidden caves and stuff. That was definitely more of it, even though it wasn't part of the story, but that was definitely like very Assassin's Creed feel. So yeah, it's kind of like it's like one hand, I think the better story at the start and end was Valhalla, but as a whole, the better story was probably like Origins. The pacing for Origins was better as well, but I very much liked, like, for Valhalla, the highs were high, and for Origins, the highs were kind of like high but not super high, and it was kind of like just decent pacing. But for Valhalla, it was like the highs were high and the lows were real low, kind of thing. So it's kind of like it depends on what you want, So I did like the high highs for Valhalla with Basim and stuff, and living Norway and Sigurd. I feel like Sigurd was a good character. I feel like Ranvi could have been much better of a character. She had a lot of potential, but kind of went nowhere. She could have had so much potential as like a tactician, as like taking care of like the home base. Like, would have been cool if we had an arc where in that one of the arcs where we got attacked, if that would have been like not so much we take control of Ranvi, but maybe if we came late to an attack and Ranvi like held the fort. That would have been really cool to give her some sort of warrior limelight. Although we did have that one quest with her where she came with us, that was kind of cool. But I feel like as a defender of the settlement, it could have been more so. Like I say, like a lot of the story stuff are kind of one and done. I feel like Ranvi could have just definitely been one of the significant characters that could have been expanded upon. And I'm not really sure with the reincarnation of Odin, like where that went. Like we are the reincarnation of Odin, but we didn't let his persona like possess us. So I'm not really sure like if we just kind of rejected that and like it went nowhere. Odin was just like haunting us like the whole time. I guess it didn't really. For me, it didn't really like go step by step to this climactic point where we had to fight Odin. He was kind of just there, and I feel like he was just going to be there forever. But in the end, we kind of rejected him, and I guess we stopped having visions, so we didn't really have anything more to do with him. But yeah, so yeah, definitely, I think more could have happened there. Again, like more, you could say more, but then the story would have been too big. But at the same time, like that would have been like you could have cut out the Viking story and put that in, which would have been the assassin story. But now the game is just so open, like, and generalized and like open for the general public that it's just kind of like mellowed down all the assassin stuff. It's not really Assassin's Creed game anymore. It's just like an action RPG game. So as an action game, like as an action Viking game, I think Valhalla is great. As an Assassin's Creed game, it's mid tier. Like it's probably, in some cases, it's just below Origins, but in some cases, it's also just above Origins. I feel like the geography and the places we go to, the scenery is probably better than Origins, because Origins has kind of a very similar color palette. And also in Valhalla, we go to Norway, England, and Finland, which is fucking great, which is amazing. So overall, I'd probably put Valhalla above Origins. But I think I would always have a fondness for Origins just because of its assassins. Like, it's so close to like assassin, like kind of Creed story. Even though there was there wasn't so much of assassins. It was just like the start of it. So all the assassin stuff didn't really, happen till towards the end, and especially in the DLC. And because of that, I'll probably put Valhalla just a bit above Origins, just because at least we did have Hytham and Basim, who were actually significant like characters, especially Basim. I did like Basim as a character. I feel like he was probably the best character in the game. Like as a villain, Falke was probably the one and only like villain. Like King Alfred wasn't really a villain. So the one and only villain was like Falke. You know, to me, the villains of the other like regions weren't really significant enough. So Falke was the one and only villain. We could have had more like, big bads. Although we did have like Loki and Asgard and stuff, which kind of extends to Basim. I think Basim's a good character, whether he ends up being like an antagonist or a protagonist or an anti-hero or anything like that. I feel like he's a decent character, and his story arc kind of comes like like pretty good. It's not too bad. It's not the best. It's not great. But I feel like I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like it's good, not great, but it's not bad either. What else? Eivor I think is pretty good. Sigurd is actually pretty not too bad either. Other than that, I feel like Hytham and Ranvi are the two most like wasted characters that had so much potential. Hytham, we could have had Hytham like do so much more cool stuff, like see him assassinate an order member, or go on a mission with him where we had to do that, where we needed help, and we would have done something to distract people with our army or our clan, and Hytham would have gone in and assassinated, and we would have seen like a cutscene, or we would have seen something. We don't have to kill every single order member when you've literally got an assassin sitting in a settlement. Origins had I kill a couple of order members, and it was completely fine. So I feel like I'm just going to keep going on. I'm not really sure what else to say. I don't like, it's already gone kind of too long, my thoughts on it, or in all the talking and stuff, but it's just a franchise, that I really love so much. So I feel like the next game is definitely probably not going to be 100%ed. It's just going to be story playthrough, I guess. But that's it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What I'm expecting for the future of the franchise, like I'm not sure. There's rumors of like an Asian or a Japanese type Assassin's Creed game, but then again, there always is, because people always want to see like the Asian Assassin's Creed game for ages now, with like ninjas and stuff. Especially we got Shao Jun as a character, but then we've also seen like her character end in some sort of media. So her story is like pretty like fleshed out already. I don't want to see any more like European American like places. I want to see like Ireland will be cool, like Wales, old Britain will be cool. Like Mongolia, like ancient Mongolia or whatever, time period. Mongolia, China, Japan will be cool. Like stuff like that I think would be cool. India would be cool, like Sri Lanka or something like that. We were already in like Constantinople, I guess, for like Revelations, but thinking of like other regions, but like stuff like that. Definitely would see some like go crazy, man. Like put us into India, or like some heavy Indian country, or have some heavy like Asian country and culture. Like I want to see more of that stuff. Even if it was hell, it'd be crazy if we saw like ancient Australia, dude, from my country, like Aboriginals and stuff. That would be pretty nuts. It would be kind of similar to like AC3, I think, if you were to have like an Aboriginal like character. But hell, man, if there's an Assassin's Creed that's like based in Australia, I feel like the time period had to be like really like close. But then again, Syndicate is revolutionary period, so I don't know, dude. I don't really know. Like according to the hints of the game, we've got like Welsh and Celtic kind of like stuff, so maybe that's going to be in the next game. We've also got a very, very small hint of... I don't think we got a small hint of Mongolia. That was just me researching stuff. But I would be happy with Welsh or Ireland, Irish stuff. Depending on the time period, it's kind of named differently, right? So that's it, guys. Next stream will be God of War. I'm not sure what difficulty we're going to be playing. Haven't opened up the game at all. So I don't want it to be too hard, because I actually want to get through the game before like Outriders comes out. But I also don't want it to be too easy, so I'm not really sure if we'll make it hardest difficulty or second hardest. Probably second hardest, but if second hardest is normal, if there's like easy, normal, hard, I'll go hard. If there's like easy, normal, hard, and then apocalypse or some shit, I'll just go hard. You know, if there's like 3 difficulties, if there's like normal, hard, and then 2 others after that, I'll go probably in between hard and hardest. But it depends. I'm not going to do like any crazy like 1 life type things, you know, or anything like that. So, yeah. Anyway, enough me blabbering. That's it, guys. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's been crazy. It's been a good run. It's been awesome. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the game. Pretty much for the most part, you know, significant majority of the game I enjoyed. I feel like there was too many collectibles. That's another critique I have. But too many collectibles. That the map is kind of too big. I don't like how they just get bigger and bigger. Although I do like how there was multiple maps. There was Norway, England, and Finland. I feel like considering you had 3 different maps, England could have been like so much smaller. It could have been like just so much smaller. But then again, you had to do all 3 regions, so or 4 regions, whatever. But yeah, anyway, that's it for the 3rd and final time. That is it. I'm going. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, catch me on Twitch, on YouTube, Fantom1080. Fantom out. Peace. Take it easy. See you guys next time.